Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Sovereign Sisters podcast. I'm Infinite C.
And I'm the Sovereigness.
And today we are actually kicking off our relationship series. So today we want to talk about the loss of relationships or loss of connection, friendships, romantic relationships, family.
Yeah.
Just the severance of ties when it comes to relationships and what that looks like and what it feels like and how it affects us, or just all the things that come with disconnecting from people.
Right.
So for me, I recently had a situation where I was friends with someone for a while. And recently we basically completely severed our relationship, our connection. And we were really good friends. But at the same time, it was one of those situations that was easy to let go, but I feel like it was hard for the other person because I don't know why it was hard for them, but it was easy for me personally because I feel like there comes a time in your life when, for me, when I had to be very selfish with myself. And some friends and family or whomever, they're not always okay with that. They're not always okay with you being with yourself and not including them in your life all the time. And I feel like that's what that situation was. Like, I kind of went on a hiatus, which is what I do sometimes. And my really good friends and family members know this. They know that I go AWOL sometimes, and it's not
Personal.
It's not anything personal exactly
Right.
to them. It's just me just taking my time for myself. And I feel like with that situation, I guess I was AWOL too long for them. And so they felt like because they couldn't have access to me when they wanted access, that meant that I was no longer a good friend to them, and that they didn't want to try to be friends anymore.
Okay.
And so be it. And that was fine with me. So what were you gonna say? Or were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was, but I'm trying not to be the big sister right now. I'm just trying to be a co-podcaster because I don't know. You haven't told me about this. So I guess I want to know, like, did you feel like it was easy to sever ties with them because you already knew, like you were already kind of detaching because it was almost like a vampire sort of situation where it's like you were a source of energy or something for them, but they weren't giving you anything in return?
Kind of.
Okay.
So it was a situation where I was definitely a source of energy for them. But they also, I won't say that they weren't giving anything back, because they were very giving. However, they were very codependent, and they were very entitled. Like, they were very entitled to, like, attached. And I'm a very sovereign being. I'm very like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. And this person didn't really give me that space to do that unless they were there with me. And I personally, it was more so that it's like I was a source of energy for them, but I was also someone that they wanted to attach themselves to because they had like codependency issues.
How long ago was this, if you don't mind me asking?
This was literally not even a week ago.
So with the retrograde energy and the
exactly
eclipse clipping out somebody that you consider, were you guys like, would you consider them to be a good friend?
I would have considered them to be a good friend. Yeah, we weren't like super close.
Yeah.
So for me, my real friends are not my friends. They're my family.
Yeah.
Like, you're my sister, you're my brother, like,
you're
my
part of the tribe.
My family knows you. My my family knows when you're my family, when you're my friend like that, you are a part of my family.
Right.
So he was a friend. He was a friend, like just a friend. He wasn't like a family friend. He was just like he was a friend. We were cool, like we were kicking buddies, right? We were hangout buddies. We would travel together, and it was basically just that.
What the fuck is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we severed ties, and he was just upset about it because I couldn't give him what he wanted, which was 5 minutes to talk on the phone. And I'm like, I don't like to talk on the phone. I don't like to FaceTime. Let's text. I can text you right now.
Yeah, because
and that wasn't good enough. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, so be it.
But why isn't that enough? Why isn't?
But that's enough? And see, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing with.
I was gonna say it's almost like he needs your energy to the point of like he needs you to have, he needs your undivided attention. And if you're texting, there's no way for him to tell that he has your undivided attention, which I get sometimes. But if I'm telling you I don't have the capacity to give you my undivided attention right now, one, maybe don't ask for it. Maybe be respectful enough to be like, she doesn't have it to give, I shouldn't be asking her. But two, be respectful enough to just be like, okay, then if you are able to text, let's text.
Let's text, exactly. But no, that wasn't enough. And see, that's the thing, like
the ghetto.
In those situations, I feel like when someone has to coerce you or give you an ultimatum or say, hey, you need to do this for me for you to really be a friend to me.
Yeah.
That's a little, that's giving manipulative. It's giving disingenuous. It's not giving real, like, because as adults, right? And as people who are aware of themselves, it's like, if I choose to not do something, you as my friend or my family member or whatever, you should respect that, especially if it's not harming you, it's not doing anything to you. Now, if you feel entitled to me, then that's something that you have to figure out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's not personal. And I'll even let them know, like, it's not a personal thing. It's just me needing to retreat for myself. It has nothing to do with you.
Some
like, you're important to me, but you're,
I was just saying, some people don't know how to, they can't fathom that doing for self is anything but selfish, when really it's like, how can I be there for you if I haven't been there for myself? Like, you just want to take and not allow me to refill. How am I going to be any good to you? Like, it's not about you in this moment. Like, I need this me time. And then you're not getting the best version of me if I can't reconnect with me. I'm not able to like connect to the authentic energy of myself and processing anything that I've gone through recently, so that I can like really show up for you. Like, okay, I just dealt with something, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just needed a minute to like, sit in peace. And I wasn't able to do that because you needed me again, even when I didn't have it to give, but you still wanted me to give. You want me to go into insufficient funds on my energy. Like, I don't,
that part.
It's giving you don't really give a fuck about me is what I'm picking up.
Exactly. It's giving very vampiric energy. But also at the same time, I really think it's beyond being, because a lot of the time I don't think that, I mean, sometimes they do know, but sometimes people don't know that they're energy vampires. Like, they don't know. And a lot of the time I feel like it comes from whatever issues they harness, like whatever they have going on with them, that they're like spilling out to the people around them. Yeah. So like with this person, it was like, he had a major loss at an early age, and it was just a lot going on. And I think that kind of stuck with him, and like he always was trying to pair himself with someone. Like constantly, like one of those people that always had to be in a relationship or always had to be with someone or couldn't stand to be alone. And those type of people, I feel for them, but at the same time, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Because if you can't stand being by yourself, who do you think somebody else want to stand being with you?
That part.
Like, you know what I mean?
That like, part.
You don't like being with you. Why the fuck you think I'm gonna like being with you? Like,
and sometimes it's not even that they don't like being with themselves. It's just that they don't know how to. But also it's like, I mean, maybe this is me being, that Scorpio rising person, but sometimes what's that saying? Like, you stepping in, sometimes you don't know what type of karma you are blocking. Like, sometimes we have karmic lessons we have to learn, and we don't know, like, if this person lost somebody at an early age, not to be insensitive, but I mean that there might be some a karmic lesson behind that. Maybe you're somebody that needed to learn independence at an early age, but instead of learning it, you still repeatedly attach yourself to other people because you're afraid to be independent. You know what I mean? So and I think it's a good thing that you cut them off or decided like, I can't really do this connection right now. And maybe it's going to teach him whatever he's been avoiding all this time. Like and you know what, like I have a friend that it's the same thing. Like I know a lot of people recently have been like, I need space, I need boundaries, and they don't like that. But all of us at once doing that to him made him feel like, shit, I have to sit with myself now. Yeah. And I felt bad because I'm like, damn, this has to be a tower moment for him. But he has to see that you can't keep going this way, because what happens if everybody around you goes away like we did? What do you do? If you're not comfortable with yourself, or you just keep avoiding, connecting with yourself, or just powering yourself up, or any type of independence. So yeah, I think it goes back to the whole thing of like allowing people to, not saying allowing, because it's not like we're like jumping in and caping for people, but sometimes people want, like, especially empathetic people, it's like we want so badly for the people that we care about to not be in any pain or anything, because we feel it. But at the same time, sometimes they need to feel it because they have something that is trying to teach them. So us jumping in and being like, I got you, like I don't really have it to give right now, but I care about you, I'm gonna be there for you, even though I can't really be there for you. Like it's taking a toll on you or us or whoever is doing that, because you have to take care of you before you could take care of anybody else.
Right. And like, I don't want to burn out in my relationships.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to burn out, because when you burn out, it's just like, okay, yeah, this is it. Like this is done. Especially if it's a relationship like I want to nurture, and like, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that I believe in and somebody that I love. And it's like, just like we said in like a couple podcasts ago, like love yourself enough so that it'll be easy for everyone else to just love on you, and for you to receive it. And then you're not looking for it from someone else. You're not constantly like searching and seeking validation or love or comfort or whatever from someone else, because you've understood how to generate that for yourself. Like, I don't know. And I hate that the word selfish has such a negative connotation to it. Like, it's important to be selfish sometimes. It's important to be a little, I'm not saying to the point where you're like negating your responsibilities and like not doing what needs to be done for like your family, your children, or your husband, or your whatever. Like,
even then I'm being selfish. I'm being selfish.
But not to the point where you're just kind of completely negating those responsibilities. I'm saying like, obviously though, that you still need to have moments of selfishness. If you can have moments of selflessness, you should be able to have moments of selfishness where you are doing whatever you need to do to fill yourself back up, because we can't always look to other people to pour into us the way we can. Like, it's different. What I get from you is different than what I get from myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing. Both important, both necessary, but also too, they're not the same, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just how I feel about that.
I wish I would have wrote down a note, because there was something you just brought up that I wanted to touch on, and I lost it. Because when you were talking about selfish and how it has like a negative connotation behind it. Selfish is reclaiming its power of like more and more people are like, no, I'm being selfish right now. Like I'm being selfish. And I can't remember if it was, I think it was a Tyler Perry movie where, and I hate referencing him, but which one was it? It wasn't. It was the one with Chris Brown. It was like a Christmas movie.
This Christmas.
Yeah. So one of the older sisters, not the oldest, the other older sister.
Regina King?
No, she was the oldest. The other one. The one that didn't have any kids. The one that didn't have like a husband or anything. And everybody was like mad at her. Well, Regina King was mad at her because she felt as the older sister that all of the responsibility fell on her. And the other sister was like, I'm selfish. I'll own that. But because I feel like I deserve that. And back then, when that came out, I didn't really understand it because again, selfish, what has such like a negative connotation around it. But now I'm like, oh, I get it. She was mad at her because Regina King was mad at her because she had a cheating husband. Not saying all husbands cheat. she had children, and she was the one that was like taking care of like the family business and everything. And the other sister was free to live her life. Why are you mad at her for everybody had a choice.
Right.
Everybody had a choice for how to live their life. And you're mad at her because she was like, I'm not settling for somebody because I need to be married by this age. I'm not settling for having kids at this age. I'm not settling for whatever everybody else wants from me. When everybody get a choice to live their life, I'm choosing to be free.
Peace.
Right.
That part.
And she said, I'll own it. I'm selfish. And that's always stuck with me, especially now. I'm like, shit, I get it.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie, Regina King got it. And I still was like, I get it. You mad at your husband, but we supposed to be a family. Nah, I get it now. Like, I get it. So yeah, I think selfish is reclaiming its power in all relationships, friendships, family, familial ships, romantic relationships. It's reclaiming its power.
And I think more so than just like, because it is selfish, right? It looks selfish, but I think more so than anything, more than selfish, it is self-care. It is self-aware. It is self-understanding. Like, know you before you jump in any type of relationship with somebody else. Stop looking for people to fill a void for you. Especially with me, because I'm not doing that. Like, I will affirm somebody and love on somebody. But what I'm not going to do is allow you to continue to pull from me what you feel you lack.
Exactly.
I'm going to try my best to empower you so that you have those tools, so that you feel good about yourself. Like, because I'm not the friend I'm not the babying friend. Right. I'm not the friend who's gonna be like, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna sit down and chit chat with you about your woes. I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna hear you out. Yeah. And then I'm gonna help. And if you want me to, I'm gonna help provide a solution. But what I'm not gonna do is wallow there with you.
Yes.
That's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not doing that.
Mm-mm. You know what though? I wonder if people that do that, like, it's almost like, do they realize what a job it becomes to be that friend that you keep pulling from? Because, and then when you think about jobs, right? Like, we talk about jobs and how you're just a number there. So if something happens to me and I'm the person you're constantly pulling for, I'm the person, I'm a job, like I'm where you're coming to get a source of something from. If something happens to me, do I just get replaced with somebody else that can do that for you? Or am I actually valuable to you? Because if I am, why aren't you allowing me to take space to feel like I can be a good friend to you? Yeah. Unless you just don't give a fuck about me being a good friend. You just need me to give you something.
Right. Right. And then in that case, like, well, what the fuck is this friendship? Like, is it really a friendship?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like you had already detached from this friendship because it was easy for you to like transition. Like, I'm cool. Like, I'll let this go. And they're having a tough time with it. But usually the person that is like, I can't do this anymore, has already been releasing that, because you picked up on how it's not a reciprocal connection. Like, I'm getting depleted. You're now taking from a damn near dry well, but never, it's not really dry like that. It's just my energy that I have for you. Yeah, you're cool. Yeah, exactly. And you're not allowing me to refill it. So therefore, your credit here is no good. Like, it's done. Yeah. So
exactly.
It sucks.
It does. And it's a little bit hurtful too. But ultimately, like, as I grow older and as we grow older, I just think it's important for us to nurture relationships that are worth nurturing. You know what I mean? And not just like situations that are comfortable because there's history there, or because of whatever reason that there is, because there's always a million reasons to stay in some shit. But if that relationship isn't fostering health, if it's not fostering like a good sense of camaraderie and just I don't even know what the words are. I think like if it's not healthy, but most healthy connections are going to be like healthy connection, like healthy, like, is the iron sharpening iron, or am I just the iron and you're the dull ass knife? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like those type of things. Like, those are the relationships that for me are worth are worth it. Anything else, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not giving it my attention. Like, I'm not. Because, and I know they're like, well, don't burn bridges with people. Like, you should network. And I'm like, well, then in that case, I haven't done anything negative or nasty to anybody. So with that being said, if that person was ever a friend to me, you know what I mean? If in the situation where there was something to come up, then hopefully maybe we could reconnect on those terms. But like I said, I don't see friends as friends to me, and networking are not the same thing.
Yeah, that's
friends
totally
to me
different.
Are family. Like, that's how I see it. Like, if I can't take you to I would say holidays, but I don't celebrate holidays. But like, if I were to take you to holidays, like to Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, or if I can't introduce you to my mom and my daddy and my sister and whoever,
right,
I don't really know if you're really my friend like that. Like, you might be my party buddy, but like, that's a different thing too. And I think it's another thing. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, but I just need to say this real quick. I think for me, it's important to have different spaces for different people.
I'm not like that, but
everybody, I don't think all our friends or all of our family members need to be on the same accord.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. I hear you, because I know your personality. Mine is different because I don't know, I guess maybe because of where I'm at. Like, I feel like if I have people that I go out to party with versus people that I can have like conversations with, the people that I'm partying with are probably going to encourage bad or toxic things while I'm out. If I can't like have a conversation with you for real besides partying, you're probably gonna encourage some shit that's gonna get me fucked up the next day, or just gonna have some negative consequences. So the people that I consider friends, I figure we can go hiking together, we can go clubbing together, because we're gonna look out for each other no matter where we're at. But I definitely understand what you're saying. You're also somebody who has more of a like party, you have a lifestyle where it's like, you can do this, you can do that, where I'm like, it's going to be a wine and bath type of night, so I understand we just have a different pool of friends, but I do understand I understand why you want group.
But I also don't really party like that. Like, I left that in my like early to mid 20s. Like, I don't really party like that. And I agree with you with that being said. Like, in the best circumstances, yes, that is what I would want. Is for somebody I could hike with, meditate with, go deep with, cook with, talk shit with, go drink and have a good time with. Ultimately, yes, that is what I would love. But if I'm being honest, I mean, I'm not saying this will work for everybody, but I'm saying in those instances where you do have friends in different areas, or you do have those church friends or those work friends or whatever, like,
work friends,
this person to this situation.
Yeah, work friends is different. Work friends is different than like anything else. Like, I'm not, if we're doing business together, like at a workspace, we're not really friends. Like, yeah, we know like the after hours or whatever, but we're not really anything else. But when you're saying like you want different groups of people for different things, it makes me wonder then, like,
I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying that if you find yourself in those situations.
What situations?
Like in those situations where you have certain people around you. Okay, for instance, in my younger years, I had party friends, but then I also had like my core group of friends who were like my everything friends. Okay. But I didn't have access to them because they lived far away.
Oh, okay.
So in those instances, when I would go out with my party friends, I wasn't expecting them to be able to go deep with me because I don't think they didn't have the ability to if I tried.
Or you just weren't interested. I'm like, no, don't say that. I'm like, or you just weren't interested. Like, you didn't find them interesting enough to like go into those spaces.
No, or you try to see if they have these different levels of depth to them. And if they don't, it's like, okay, this is a cool person. Like, I know they have a good heart, but they don't have the capacity to go there yet.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But it's like, excuse me, like I said, even my party friends, they wasn't gonna like just leave me in a jam and leave me fucked up. Like, they were still good people. They just weren't the friends I could go hiking with because they weren't into that.
But then it makes me wonder.
do a podcast with, because they weren't able to,
But then it makes me wonder, so how do you maintain those connections? Like, you guys only talk when it's like, hey, I want to go out. Are you free?
It's just shallow, to be honest.
But see, I don't know. See, girl, I don't think I've ever had like a shallow friendship with people, but that's because I'm constantly trying to dig, and it's annoying to some people. It might appeal to some, it annoys others. Either way, it's going to trigger somebody. It might trigger something that's like, oh, I want to talk about it. Or it might trigger you to be like, I'm good. But I don't really make connections I don't do small talk. I don't really, and I know it's annoying to people because it's like, damn, lighten up. But at the same time, I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't have time for small talk.
Yeah.
I small talk with my kids, like I deep talk with them too. But if they want to talk about like this new dance they just learned where it looks like they having an epileptic episode, I could do that. But I just feel like as adults, I don't have time for small talk, and I don't want to just go out to drink, and I don't want to go, like, it's just, I just have a different view on that sort of friendship thing. But but I think it's because of it's just, that's where we just differ, is like, you have the capacity to be like, I'm living in the moment, which we've already said so many times. I don't have that ability to be like, I'm living in the now. I do, but at the same time, I'm like,
I was about to say, you definitely have that ability.
But at the same time, I'm like, how can I be 1 foot in and 1 foot in another world? Like, as often as possible. I can do it right now. It's just, I don't know. I can't, like, I don't want to say I can't. It's uncomfortable for me to be in small talk, because then I start feeling like I'm looking deep,
dumbing yourself down.
Not even dumbing myself down as much as it is that I'm like pulling from people, and I don't want to feel like I'm pulling anything out of you, as much as I just want us to have a flow, like a conversation that flows back and forth. So if I feel like I'm pulling from you, then it's sort of just like this small talk. Either you're not interested in what I have to say, or I'm not interested in what you have to say. And so why the fuck are we wasting time?
Why are we even here? Yeah. I think maybe it's just my personality then. Because I get what you're saying, and on like at my core, I feel that way. But also too, I think I just know how to, like, I connect with different people. Like, I know how to connect with different people and know where they would belong in my life, if at all. You know what I mean? Like, then if I feel like it's not necessary, then I don't have a problem with letting it go. But also too, like, there are instances where I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I just give people chances to just, you know what it is? I like for people to be themselves. Be you to the best of your ability, and I'll see if I can accept it.
You have that, that South Node and your rising are very nurturing energies. Mine, the sister of your South and rising, is very much like, exactly, or more so like, what you got? Don't got time. Like, like, I'm very
with his finger ready for what's that? But
it's not to be malicious as much as it is like, I'm not gonna waste your time, you're not gonna waste mine.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. So yours is like, I see you, not a good match, but I see you, and it's
right, exactly.
Right. So I get it. It's just that we just operate differently with connections, and you're way more well-rounded, where I'm more just like, you will try to get to know somebody, and I'm initially already deep diving into their soul. It's a very uncomfortable situation.
I'm not ready to pause.
I'm just like initially, I'm just like, who are you? What do you have going on for you? Not my type. Or yes, you are a good fit.
No.
Right. Like, it's gonna be one or the other. There is no in between. So, and you're like, I feel like you see the potential in people, or
that's a bad thing though.
It's not because it's just not. I just feel like some people need to see the potential in other people, because the people who have potential and who come across people like me who are like, no, it's kind of like they get thrown away. Like, damn, why I get thrown away? Whereas you'll be like, I see you. If nobody else see you, I see you. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's really fucked up. But at the same time, I just feel like I don't have time. I don't know why I have that rushing energy. Probably Aries shit. But it just,
that Aries and that Scorpio.
both Mars and Pluto.
And you got a whole ass family. So you really like,
I don't have time. But even before,
my priorities are different. Yeah.
Even before I had the family, like we think about my best friend who's a Taurus. She's very slow moving and stable and willing to like persist. And the first time I met her, she was like, we're about to be friends. Yeah.
I remember this story.
Yeah. And it's so weird because the way we met was like, she's telling me a secret in my ear because I'm trying to drive her home from a party. We're friends, you know, we have mutual friends, and they're like, can you take her home? Yeah. She's telling me a story in my ear. I'm like, why the fuck are you telling me this? Because everybody wants to tell me deep, dark secrets, which I'll take it.
Same.
but I was just like, after I dropped her, I was like, don't ever put me in the same space as her again. She kept popping up. And still, every time I ran into her, she was like, this is gonna be my best friend. She's very stable, which I need as somebody who's very like either flighty or I need to get this shit done quick. She's the opposite.
Yeah, you're like either completely out or you're like in that shit.
Exactly.
Like
whereas
blinders.
She's way more grounded. So I think the duality of the two of us is how we became good friends. So and I didn't see the potential in her, but because we had mutual friends, she kept popping up. And so I was able to see, you know, like she not only is she loyal, I actually do vibe with her. Like we actually do have a lot to talk about. Of course, I didn't know that the first day because you was in a different world, girl. Like and
you see what happens when you give someone a chance.
Yeah, but I don't have time. And it's been that way. It's been that way because the people who are meant to like persist are going to persist.
Yeah,
and not to say like I'm somebody who you won't have to show and prove, as much as it is just like I'm not trying to waste your time and I don't want you to waste mine.
Yeah.
If you really think we need to be friends, the universe will make it happen. But
yeah,
I'm not about to be
that's
like,
so true. That's so true. Because you can even try to cut ties. Like you said, you can try to cut ties and be like, I'm done. But the universe be like, nah, this motherfucker need to be. And you're like,
exactly.
I'm off right there.
Exactly. I was like, I'm good. I don't need her to be my friend. I don't want to be her friend. Awkward.
Now it's funny that we have similar like situations when it comes to how we met our best friend.
Yeah. And
because I didn't like my best friend at first. I was like,
kind of alike.
Rude as fuck. Huh?
They're kind of alike.
Who?
Lena, I mean, them. They're alike to me. I get the same.
The two of them are alike?
Yes.
I could get that. I get that. I thought you were saying me and Lena are like, I'm like, we're nothing.
No.
Like, we are, but we're not.
I feel like you guys are opposites, but I definitely feel like though our two best friends are a lot alike. A lot.
We're alike and our two best friends are alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I could see that.
But they stick around no matter how much you're like, I'm sick of them. Like we know that those connections matter to us. So if we were ever to lose those connections, it wouldn't be I was ready to let that go as much as it would be like, almost like you have a grieving period. Like I'm grieving the loss of a family member. Like honestly, this is somebody I've grown with through different stages. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what your relationship was with or is with this guy that you're like, I'm good right now. Like, cause you guys might still come back together as friends. But I just feel like there's different levels to severing connections. Sometimes it's like, yeah, we was good friends, but I'm good. Cause I have a friend, my best friend is the only one who's left out of all the people that we had mutual friends with. Like everybody else is like, as time went on, it was like, no, we're not a good fit. And I don't feel like we need to go past this stage. Like initially at first at certain ages, it was like, this hurts. But then you start to realize, you know, like we might've gone either this friendship has carried on too long, like longer, like it's past its expiration date, or just like, I'm good with letting this go because I feel like we've been growing apart anyways.
Yeah.
And maybe the other person doesn't feel that way because I still get, you know, messages from those people that's like, I miss you. And it's like, I don't have any ill will towards you. I just know that we don't need to be friends. Like we don't need to be in each other's lives. I don't wish I don't wish any ill will on you whatsoever. I hope your children grow up to be amazing people. And I hope that you get everything you want in life, but you don't need to keep texting or inboxing me that you miss me, because what did you miss about me? You don't tell me what you miss or nothing, just I miss you. All right, thanks. I don't know how to say it.
Okay, wait, if they told you what they missed, would that make a difference though?
It might, because then it's like, okay, so you actually did see me. Because a lot of the connections that I was just like, I'm good. It's just kind of like your connection. Like, we can sever this because I feel like there's stuff being taken from me, or I'm like, one of the people that I severed a connection with was, I thought she was one of my best friends. She has 2 children by a Black man. She was not Black. And when all of the Trayvon Martin, it's like, you start to see little things. It's like, you don't have anything to say, and your kid, not only are your children Black, they're going to be viewed as Black. Not only are they Black, but the man that you claim to love is Black. And you see there's a target being put on Black men right now, and you have nothing to say. Not only that, but you kind of were defending the people that were taking out these Black men, these Black boys, these Black bodies. And I'm on here, and I'm out here like, I'm crying my eyes out because I have a little Black, at the time I had Daniel, and I have my little Black child, and then my Black husband, and my whole family, my brothers, my father, my stepfather, like everybody, all the Black men I care about. And I'm just putting myself in an empathetic space of, that could be me, that could be my child, because right now he's a cute little Black boy, but he's going to grow up to be somebody that is appeared to be a threat. Not only that, but I have brothers, and other men in my life who are already considered a threat. And instead of you acknowledging that and the pain it's causing somebody you call a best friend, you would rather look away because right now it doesn't affect you, or you can't put yourself in a space. Here's the thing, okay? And
not even look away, like encourage the other side.
And the thing, you know what it is though? And it shouldn't matter. But the thing is, she was white, her boyfriend was Black, but her boyfriend was light skin. And then her children came out and they were white passing. So I'm like, you have, no matter what, they're still Black kids. Like, as they grow up, they're going to have the curly hair, whatever. So she doesn't have to deal with that. I see the
but
other
it's not
people,
the same though.
But I see the other people who are in the same predicament, right? They may have had children with somebody who is browner skin, or their child has coarser hair and is not so white passing, and they're advocating because they feel the pain. But even if they didn't, like the other, I don't want to say her name, but you know, the person that we know, the one that's always supportive, her children are not necessarily, they don't necessarily look Black, but she's always on the front line. Like, you guys need to speak up, or I'm going to speak up, or whatever. And it's like, it's not that hard to be empathetic when there's people that you love or claim to love that look like these people that feel like they're under attack, whether you think they are or not, they feel like they are. And you don't empathize with the people that you claim to love and are calling your best friends. So I severed that.
That's not a real one.
That's what I'm saying. But now it's, I miss you. And I'm like, what did you miss?
Be missed. How about that? You're missed.
It's almost like she misses having,
miss me with that. How about that?
I think she misses having Black friends, or Black friends with Black children, or there's something she misses, but it's not what I need to hear to feel like I need to be in any type of connection with you at all. So that's, I'm like, it might matter if she said what she missed.
No. Mm-mm. Even if she said that, don't even know, because I mean, not to give grace and give people room for growth. Okay, sure, absolutely. You could have possibly grown up, yada yada yada, so on and so much, so on and such.
You grew up around nothing but Black people, so that's why I was like, girl, what?
There's people out here. There's real culture poachers, culture vultures. So it's like, when they don't have access to the source of creativity, melanated people, it's like they start to, it's really weird, because I'm noticing, I'm in the South and I'm noticing it, and it's like, I don't know if it would be genuine, more so than her, like we were talking about, missing something for herself rather than actually giving a fuck about you.
And that's when being selfish is a problem, because it's not
then you're putting someone else in a jeopardy.
Exactly. No. So yeah, connections like that, I'm just like, it sucks because I knew you for so long. And the only one that lasted out of that whole friendship circle is my best friend. She was the one that initially I was like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But thank goodness that I did have those connections with those other people, because who knows how I would have, I mean, the way I met her the first time was like, this is traumatic. Who are you? But but who knows how I would have met her before, because or after, if it wasn't for that group of people that I no longer associate with, I don't think I would have met my best friend the way I needed to in order to appreciate her. Like, her persistence probably wouldn't have been as necessary, because one, she probably would have been sober or in a totally different space in life altogether, where I wouldn't be thinking like, she's crazy and I'm crazy, but I don't think two crazies go together. You know, like I don't, it just would have been different. Like, I appreciate her more now because I seen her be her, and she ain't changed. She has not switched up. I mean, a little bit, but not to the point where I'm like,
that's a whole different motherfucker.
Yeah, no, like her core values are the same. She's still loyal. She's still a real one. So can't say that about everybody. That matters to me, because a lot of people are giving op vibes.
Too many.
Yeah.
And not just the milk skins.
Yeah, no, all skin folk ain't kin folk. All kin folk ain't kin folk. I'm just saying. There's people in our own, well, that's a whole other topic. That'll be a whole other discussion. However, I definitely do want to talk about how relationships within the family, within our bloodline. Yes, I had a whole segment on how I think it was soul tribes and soul contracts, where like your bloodline is meant to like we're meant to trigger each other to teach each other lessons. But the thing is,
we're meant to trigger each other.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh, well, we're in this, we're blood, so I guess I got to deal with you. The thing is, I don't feel like anything is by mistake. I do feel like there is a design. So if we share blood, 9 times out of 10, it could be karma that I need to learn from you, or that you need to learn from me, or there's something that you need to trigger in me to remind me who the fuck I am, or vice versa. There's a reason why we're in each other. Because there's a lot of people in my family who I would never come across in real life for any reason but to be like, nope, immediately. So we're in the same family because now I have to acknowledge it, or now you have to acknowledge me. Now I'm going to make you uncomfortable, or you're going to make me. Either way, there's going to be some growth, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to acknowledge me or not. Once you know something, you can't unknow something. So
it's like it sets you up for the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's having certain relationships with certain family members. It's like it sets you up. That's so crazy though. Like,
your bloodline is a built-in soul. They're soulmates, and soulmates are not always the best thing. They're not always fun and joy and happiness. They can also be, y'all made a soul contract to say, look, this time I'm not gonna like you.
Trauma though.
This time I'm not gonna like you, but I need you to do this so that I am sent to this space in my life to learn this lesson, or whatever the case may be. This is my outlook on life. My outlook on life is nothing is by mistake. Therefore, if it's trauma that I have to experience, maybe that trauma is going to help somebody else. You know, because why are you making these faces? I just don't feel like anything is by mistake.
I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it.
Trauma. Okay, so if we didn't have trauma, there would be nothing to heal. There wouldn't be, and that's not to be insensitive to anybody's trauma, because there's different degrees of trauma. But if we did not experience some sort of trauma, and I already feel like Earth is just one big place to come and learn lessons. So if we did not have people who were traumatizing us in some way, shape, or form, it's almost like we're not.
But like it has to be family though. Like
Yes, because you have to learn that if the people that you have a blood relationship to, the people that are supposed to have your back no matter what, the people that are supposed to love you no matter what, can do this to you, you can't just go out into the world and expect any and everybody to feel this way about you. You need to know that even your own family will stab you in the back, will hurt you, will trigger you, or whatever. I feel like it makes you stronger. For some people, it's gonna break you down before it builds you back up. Or for others, they're gonna be like, I'm out. game over. I don't fuck with it. You know, like I know
that.
Yeah, there's different levels to the trauma. There's different levels to the response. There's different levels to life, period. But I just don't believe that we are born into the same bloodline as people by mistake. I honestly believe that they are your first soul family, and they are, maybe this lifetime you don't like them, but who knows what your relationship was last lifetime, or however many lifetimes ago, where you set up a contract that's like, I'm not going to like you this time, but I need you to do this so that I can either remember this or learn this or grow this way, or whatever the case may be. I just don't think that nothing has a purpose. I honestly feel like everything has a purpose. Everything has a place. Everything has a reason. And so even though I don't fuck with a lot of people in the family, I still respect that. Thank you for teaching me that lesson, or thank you for whatever. I'm always going to show gratitude, because I needed that. I needed you to tell me that. I don't even want to bring that up. Tell me something that made me feel like I need to disconnect from y'all to really get in touch with myself, because I was leaning too much on family for a minute, where now it's like, I know I don't need, like, I love y'all, but I can love you from a distance. I don't need to be in your space. I don't need to know your business. I don't need to know nothing about what you have going on. And I still love you. I just know that I love me. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I get that. And I agree with that. The last portion of that, when I think about what we were talking about previous to this, about like the trauma and, you know, family inflicting trauma, like I absolutely agree that it's all, like, a lot of this is by design, and there are no coincidences. 100% agree with that. It's just, to me, like, if I'm going to, my goal is not to inflict trauma on anybody, right? Like that's not what I feel like I'm here for.
But sis, that's your path.
Not to say that I haven't hurt someone, right? But that's not my goal. Also, too, like maybe what you said could be true, right? Because anything's possible. But I would hope that moving forward, like with future generations, that changes, because I don't want to have kids, right? If I have my children and they have to expect to like be traumatized by me or their father or their cousins or their sisters or their brothers or
I don't think anybody,
their uncles or their aunties. And this is like, I would hope that wouldn't have, like, you know what I mean? Like,
but I don't think that anybody expects to traumatize anybody or be traumatized by anybody.
Some people do it though. Some people purposefully hurt people.
Okay, but this is where I feel like grace needs to be given, because we don't know what those people, what their upbringing was within the same family. I'm looking at cousins who we know that their mother was abusive, or whether it was verbally or physically. We had a totally different experience with our mother. So this lifetime we can't say I would traumatize. I don't want to traumatize nobody. That's not our path this lifetime. This lifetime, that was they had to go through that. And sometimes you don't know how to be anything but what you've experienced. Other people can be like, I didn't like that, so I'm not going to be that way. Whereas other people are like so traumatized. It's like, that's all I know. And also I'm resentful. And this is how I'm moving forward. Some people it's like they repeat the cycle, and that's why I wanted to have to talk about breaking generational traumas and things, or just relationships, period.
So then why do we feel bad when bad things happen to people who've done bad things? Because if that's your karma, and
because some people are
out here inflicting pain on people and you got karma now.
Some people are just naturally sympathetic, not even naturally. Some people just are sympathetic. I think our experiences shape us. Some people don't give a fuck if somebody gets hurt. Other people, no matter how hurt somebody or how much somebody hurt them, they're still going to be hurt that person got hurt. Like there's different levels to our experiences. And I can't say you should feel bad for that person, even though they hurt you. It's the same thing, not to bring our business into it, but we had different experiences with our father. And so I'm not saying your experience doesn't matter or the way you view him doesn't matter. I'm just saying mine is different from yours. And that's the thing I got this lifetime. So there's just different experiences. We can't be like, I don't know how to explain that. I just don't feel like I could just be like, fuck everybody who's ever done me wrong, because I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like, if we're in this family and I know my auntie was that way to you, or my uncle was that way to you, or because she was that way to me and you had to live with her, I get it. But at the same time, I see that you're not trying to change, or maybe now I see that you are changing. You know, you have to give people grace and room to grow. You just said that. And you can't hold that over their head. Otherwise, really, you're not healed. Really, you're still harboring resentment for how they did you. And you're not allowing them to show you that they've changed, or you're saying you don't have the capacity to change.
It's not so much about harboring resentment as it is about, like we spoke about, paying a karmic debt. And so if my karmic debt this lifetime was at the hands of somebody else, and then in this lifetime they have to pay their karmic debt for what they inflicted on somebody else, then then nobody can be mad or upset or feel a way about that person who was they can't say anything about how they react to it. Like, if I can't, and it's not about not giving grace. It's not about growth, because that all has a purpose. That all has a place. But also too, I'm not going to stop, and I don't have the capacity or the power to stop the universe from universing. So no,
I think we're thinking or talking about two different things, because you're saying it might be somebody's karmic debt. Like, okay, if you didn't learn not to do to me what somebody did to you, then you're going to get your karma. That's fine. Like, you don't have to feel any type of way about somebody's karmic debt, as much as it's just like, let the universe handle it. Maybe let that go. You know, like, I'm not saying
not harboring resentment. Like, not like, is that what you're saying? Like, not harboring resentment, like not harboring those ill feelings?
No. So this is a terrible example, but the way people were rejoicing about this man, Kevin Samuels, dying because they didn't like him, it's like, I wouldn't rejoice somebody, you know, like their downfall or anything, as much as I'd be like, that ain't got shit to do with me. Like, why do y'all care so much that he just let it go? Just let it go. Or otherwise, like, he really had an effect on you to the point where you gave a fuck about him dying. Like, you really wanted him dead. It feels like you're harboring something.
Right. And I'm not agreeing with that either. But it's also too, like, you could be like, okay, well, fuck it. Like, all right, well, that happened.
And or you can do about it.
You know what? Because my reaction to was like, damn, ain't that ironic? Like, that was
but I don't think
that was my reaction. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so happy he's gone, or like,
I don't think there's anything wrong with.
I haven't seen people rejoice. Like, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen people rejoicing over this man dying. Like, I don't know where it's at, but I've hearing it, but I haven't seen it. If anything, I see people saying, like, I mean, you got what you got. Like, that's what I'm seeing, and to me, I think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. I just don't think that it's cool to be like, oh, thank goodness, like, good riddance, as much as it's just like, I don't know about that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the universe is gonna, I wouldn't say good riddance, because you don't know where obviously he clearly didn't have room to grow this lifetime because he got taken the fuck out. But you don't, like, if he hadn't, just wishing or rejoicing in somebody passing over before they even had a chance to possibly revolve or have a change of heart, maybe, like, I don't know, it's something about that that's just sort of like, he really triggered you to the point where now you feel like it's okay to be like, the finality of your life is amazing to me, versus
that's different.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, there's different levels, versus just being like, well, damn, like, you got what you got. Like, that's different. That's a totally different reaction to being so, like, hurt by whatever he was doing or saying, because I don't know much about him, but whatever he did or said on his platforms to upset so many people, like, it literally had an effect on you to the point where you just were like, your existence being erased has made my life 1,000 times better. And how?
Yeah,
like,
that's
how.
Different. That's different. That's a different thing. I don't even know what to call that.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like everybody deserves grace, because we don't know, like, we don't know their past. We don't know.
Agree with that.
We don't know where they've been, where they're going. So to just be like, fuck you, is different than being like, I have nothing to do with you.
I feel like both can exist. because I can be like, I wish you well, and like, whatever, stay out of my space. I can also like, I feel like I'm not gonna lie, there are moments where I've had situations with people where I'm just like, fuck you, like literally fuck you, like, but that's not me saying like I hate you.
That's what I'm saying
on you, like I want you to die. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just
not
like
voodoo.
Fuck you. Like
that's different, sis. I feel like it's different. I feel like we're saying the same thing in different ways.
I'm making sure that I'm not like a malicious, ill.
You're not a malicious person. You're not a malicious person. I think what you're saying is, or what I was picking up from what you was putting down was, I don't want to be in a connection, family or not, where you feel like traumatizing me in some way, shape, or form is necessary, because I plan on, or if I have children, if we continue our lineage, we don't want this to be repeated. The thing about that, though, what I said earlier about knowledge being power is, as two sovereign beings who chose to go a totally different way than the bulk of our family, being like, not only am I not going to follow this way because what has it gotten us this far, but I'm going to go in this direction, and I'm probably going to bring back what I found, and it's probably going to shake some shit up. So now that you know, you have a choice to break some chains with us, or continue that path. But know this, my children will not be a part of a cycle. They're going to be learning something totally different. So if your children want to repeat a cycle, they'll know how to handle that accordingly. And that's how you break chains. You just keep removing yourself or removing the link from the chain. It starts to get smaller and smaller, or it's just one day going to break, because I'm not going to allow my kids to endure the trauma that I did. Otherwise, What did I learn? What did I learn? If I let them go through the same thing, what did I learn? Maybe now it's your kids' turn to learn. And then maybe they'll be the ones to break the chain, since you didn't want to, do it.
Exactly.
But I think that there is room for grace for everybody, because they're in your bloodline. So it's like, maybe it's part of our job. Right? Like, to break the chains. And by doing that, we're removing a link, right? And then bringing, or saying to them, like, this is what I found out. Now that you know, what you gonna do about it? Or this is how I felt when you did this. Now that you know, what you gonna do about it? It's giving you a chance to right your wrong, or make some changes. If you don't, it's gonna be a repeat. But maybe your child, your descendant, or the people coming up behind us are gonna start to break it even more.
Yeah. When you said if you don't, it reminded me of this little TikTok where the boy was like, if you don't, you're not gonna get beat ass. Oh. Did you see that? No. It just reminded me of that, because it's just like, if you don't do the work, if you do the work, you're not gonna get beat ass. But if you don't do the work, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, I mean, and like, that would be God speaking, right? Like, you can fuck around this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, you can mess around this lifetime if you want. Right. But you gonna go back, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
Absolutely.
But the thing about that is, sometimes people don't have the stamina to get their ass whooped and figure out that they need to change. Sometimes they get their ass whooped and they're like, fuck everything, and I'm about to whoop everybody else's ass. Yeah. Yes. So it's like you kind of have to find, and I feel like we do that, like removing yourself from the drama, or just finding alternative methods to, I don't know, like getting out of toxic situations or things that we just know are not good for us. It's like, that's part of breaking trauma too, generational curses and trauma. That's part of it too. Like, not trying to cover it up, not sweeping anything under the rug, but calling shit out, or being like, you know what? I know so-and-so used to drink or does drink their problems away. I choose not to do that. I choose to feel it, and I choose to find another way to transmute it. Or, like, there's different things that we do that break the chains. And so, I don't know. I just feel like it gives everybody space to grow, especially because as somebody in the family, when we do reconnect with them, whether it's over the passing of somebody or a baby or a wedding or whatever the case may be, when we do come together and they see the growth that's happening with the lost lamb, the one who left the pack or whatever, they see that growth, and now you got questions. I got answers. You got the questions, I got answers. What you do with it is completely up to you. You know what I mean? Like, And maybe it'll help you. Maybe you'll decide, you know what, I don't need to drink because where is it getting me besides the next day I'm dealing with the same shit.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't need to do this because I don't know, like it hasn't done anything for me this far. And cuz over here is living their best life, or at least appears to be in a good space. So maybe I should try, or maybe I should connect with them in a different way. And so it's like, it's giving them grace, but it's also giving yourself the space to grow too. Like opening up the door, like they're like, oh, how are you? Like, of course, have your boundaries. Of course, have like, I'm not dumb. I'm not about to just give you everything, but I'm doing great. And I don't hold anything against you. Yeah, I don't hold anything against you. And that alone triggers people, sometimes in a good way, to be like, I wish I wouldn't have, done that to them. And I need to not do that to anybody else.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just something to think about. This conversation went in a totally different direction.
Kind of.
We wanted to talk about relationships. We wanted to be a segment, and it went from friendships to family. So hopefully, I mean, if
we were talking about letting go relationships.
Yeah.
Friendships, family, whatever. So it's just, we're still we're still on topic.
Yeah. It's just a longer conversation. So, I mean, but you can always pause and come back and watch it later or listen later. If you made it this far, we should probably put that in the description.
You made it this far. I don't even know how far we are into it right now.
It's about an hour and a half.
Are you serious?
A good 90 minutes. And usually we're at 45, 25.
Wow. Well, this was a long conversation.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't even touched on romantic relationships. We got a little bit into family and a little bit into friends. Nothing on romantic yet. So that's going to be fun. That in itself
that's why this is a series.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I feel like romantic relationships, I feel like they all kind of fall under the same umbrella in a way, like as far as like letting go.
Well, yes, as far as letting go.
Yeah, not in totality. I mean, like as far as letting go, like I said, if it's not fostering good, healthy, healthiness, like good relationship, like building each other up type of thing, regardless of whatever, it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like
if it's not providing progress, what are we doing it for? Like if we're
what? And I can't really speak on this because I'm not this, but like I don't know if we should keep this conversation going.
Why? We here now.
Okay. So like
I have a feeling that I know where this is going.
I be thinking about,
I know where this is going.
Do you?
Come on with it.
People in, because I'm not married. I'm in a partnership, but I'm not married. Huh?
I knew this is where we were going.
Because I'm like, when people are married, right? Because I see so many people be with people, and even my clients, like the men who sit in my chair, like some people be going through some shit at home, like, and like they'll be like, I've been with this person, we're married, we have kids, and like it's not a healthy situation, but they don't leave.
Comfort.
I understand that, but I don't understand that. Like,
but okay, so here's another thing. I mean, we could tie this to astrology even. Like you have to look at your Venus placement and your moon. How do you process your emotions? Also, how do you love? Some people have Taurus in that spot where it's like loyalty and commitment are everything to them.
So you telling me half the planet got Taurus and Mars?
No, that's Mars. That's Mars, but also Venus. But you have to look at a lot of different things. Like we don't know what their house placements are. We don't know anything, but that's just the astrology side of it. The other thing is how are people raised? If they come from a broken home, maybe they feel like they have something to prove. Like my mother raised me without my father. I came from a broken home. I don't want that for my children. People who are married without children separate way easier because there's no assets usually, or if there is, it's just a house. They don't have to divide children, so it's different. But
what if these children are witnessing a toxic environment?
Well, then that falls back to what I was saying about somebody being like, I don't want my kids to come from a broken home. They have to have the willpower to be like, my children come first, not my ego. But there's some people who don't give, like, they care about their kids, yeah, but their ego, their image means more to them than their children witnessing the toxicity.
So at what point, right, in a marriage, when you have kids, and at what point is it, despite growing up in a broken home, despite the Venus placement, because no placement is worth your children experiencing trauma too.
That's just
like, as much as they have to. Like, at what point do you say, this is not healthy, this is not a healthy environment for me or my children, and it, like, I need to go? Or do you just push through? And, like, you know what I mean? Like, at what point?
There is no one point for all couples. It's going to take at least one person to be like, I'm not doing this anymore. So the point is, whatever your breaking point is, that's it, point blank. And everybody's breaking point is different. Everybody's breaking point is different. So some people might be like, you hit me once, I'm good. Other people might be like, that's not enough for me to leave. Like, because they start thinking, they get in their head, we have to dissolve the house, bank accounts, where are the kids going to stay? Where am I going to move? You know, like, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just a simple, that's it, I'm done. But some people have the willpower to be like, I'm not about to let you hit me again. I'm going to leave. And other people are just like, I have way too many things. I need to get a plan in motion at least. And then some people start putting a plan in motion, and then they slide back into comfort because they see their partner changing, or they start to change, or they, you know, whatever the case may be. It's just different. There's no one way to say, you got to go, or you got to go, or you should leave, or this should be dissolved, because it's not that simple. Marriage,
for the sake of the kids.
Listen, marriage is something that people do because they want the status and the title of being a husband and wife. They don't think about all that's going to come with dissolving a marriage. It's easier to get a marriage license and get married than it is to get a divorce. You can separate.
I'm talking about your children. I'm not your children.
But sis, you can't just focus on that. Like, yes, you can take your kids and go, but you're still married to that person. And if you're still married to that person, you could move out of fucking state and you could get in fucking trouble because they are half of somebody else's children. It's a whole dissolution of a marriage, kids or no kids. It's easier without kids.
If you go as far as moving out of state with your kids, why not get the divorce?
You can start the process. But you're still married to that person, and that person can go to court and say, this is an unfit parent. They kidnapped my kids without my consent. So how is that there's a whole process. It might be difficult for you to like internalize because like you said, you don't have the children, you don't have the marriage. So it's different. Like for me, I'm thinking like, okay, all the different aspects of different marriages. For this person, it might be this. For this person, it might be this. For this person, for me, it would be this. Like, and not saying that I'm trying to dissolve my marriage, but just thinking about the different things that it takes to break down a marriage. It's easier to jump in. It's easier to have a wedding and sign a marriage license than it is to get to the point of dissolving a marriage. You have to go through everything. If you have kids, it's even worse. If you don't have kids, it's basically materialistic shit. Who gets the house? How much money are you going to split down the bank? But children, where are the kids going to stay? Who's the most fit parent? And if both parents love those kids, you're going to fight for your kids. So it's not as simple as just leave each other. It's not that simple. If it was, there would be a lot more divorces.
There are a lot of divorces.
But there would be a lot more.
Pretty high.
But there will be a lot more if it was that simple. I'm thinking
of the instances where, I don't know. I'm not thinking of just like an unhappy marriage. I'm thinking of like the instances
even where abuse.
It's unhealthy, like
even abuse. I literally just seen somebody on Facebook had video proof that this man busted her windows out while she's sitting in the car with the kids, and she has to pay child support to him.
Yeah, no,
in Georgia.
And then thank you, because it's not. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm not trying to deter you from having children or
no. I know you're not. I'm just listening. I've always been the type to observe what happens and then apply. I'm good. No,
it's not for everybody. And honestly, a lot of people should not be married, but
or have kids.
if you're not married though, it's easier to just like get out of a situation with somebody. When you're married, it's a totally different thing. If you have kids, like if you're in a connection, whether it's a common law marriage or if it's just a relationship, a partnership, life partnership, whatever, you have kids, it's still going to be difficult to leave the state or get away from an abusive or toxic relationship because you share other human beings. It's not like you just share money with this person. You share human beings, and you both want those little humans in your possession because you feel like you're the better parent because that person's toxic or that person's toxic. Everybody has a story. The truth is somewhere in between.
Well, like I said, I'm not married and I don't have kids, so I don't know. And after this, I probably won't be married with kids.
I mean, I feel like it's not for everybody. It's not, I mean, everybody is not set up to be in long-term commitments. Everybody's not set up to be parents. Everybody's not set up to be, I mean, people who are parents aren't even set up to be parents, but they wanted
some people that are married are not meant to be married, but
yeah. But again, it goes back to wanting the title, the security, or people who have kids who aren't the most fit to be parents wanted something to love them probably unconditionally. Instead of thinking about being a parent, they were thinking, I have a baby, it's gonna love me no matter what. And then they completely neglected it.
It's a dog. What the okay. You're right though, but that's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know.
This is like, I try not to be judgmental about people, but it's just that some things are just like that. It's not my experience. So I can't really.
Children are just my sensitive spot. So like when it comes to kids, like that's my sensitive spot. So that's the one thing that I will judge hard.
But is it because of your own childhood, or is it because you feel like children are innocent?
It's because it's both. It's both. It's probably because of my experiences as a child, but also because children are innocent. Most children are innocent.
Most animals are innocent.
Right, but we're not talking about animals.
But we are. Children are part of the animal kingdom.
But we're not doing it. That's not what we're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though. But
marriages. We're not talking about the animal kingdom.
But sis, that's what I'm saying. Some people have dogs and those are their children. You're like, get a dog. Like if you want something to love you unconditionally, like that is the thing that they thought was gonna love them unconditionally. And people are dissolving marriages over a fucking dog. Like,
but a dog and a child is not the same thing. And I'm not gonna say that my pet dog is as worth as my child. Like
it's not the same thing in that sense. It's not the same thing in the sense that you gave birth to, you gave life to it or anything like that, but it's still an innocent animal. So
right. But what I'm saying is my soft spot is children. I'm talking about kids, like kids being my soft spot. And so when I see relationships that garner and create very toxic situations for those innocent children, it's my soft spot. Okay. So that's where I'm coming from. Like if it's two adults and some bullshit, be in your bullshit. But when you bring innocent children into it, innocent beings, animal, whatever, but specifically children, then that's to me when it becomes very, 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 very problematic. And that's when I do get judgy. That's when I do start to like, that's when it is something different to me. Because it's like, why, if you, and sometimes, not all the times, but there are a lot of instances that I've witnessed where people get into relationships, the relationship is toxic, and then they bring children into it.
Yeah, that happens.
And I'm just like, your shit was already fucked up, but why the fuck did you bring a baby into this?
Usually because they think it's gonna fix the shit. They think a child is gonna fix the relationship.
And then that's the problem for me. Like
those are the people.
Not my situation. It's like it's two adults, two grown people doing their thing. Like it's not my place. It's not my place. Like, okay, do your thing. But you bringing an innocent child into a situation like that, that is where I feel like the line is drawn.
Some people, and those are the people that are not fit to be parents, but they do it because of some reason other than unconditional love for a child. It's more because they feel like it's going to fix the relationship, or they want something to love them unconditionally. And they feel like it's a child that's going to fill that void best, or that's going to make this happen best. Those people, in my opinion, are not fit to be parents. Simple as that.
Yeah. That's just that one really left. But that's just one of my soft spots is kids. Like as much as I think I love kids so much that I don't want to bring my kid into this fucked up ass.
If I am coming back next lifetime, I'm not I'm planning on meeting my children as siblings or auntie, uncle, anything but my children, because no.
Yeah.
For many reasons. I just feel like, yeah, that's a totally different topic too. But
I don't know how we got here. Well, I do know how we got here, but I don't know why.
I don't remember either. Oh, we were talking about like connections, like romantic relationships, and why people stay,
and like leaving and losing relationships. But yeah,
it's not as easy when children are involved, because you can be terrible to each other, but that doesn't mean that you don't actually want to have your children, or you don't feel like you're the better parent for that child. And so it makes it difficult to dissolve a marriage, even relationships, because some way or another, you're probably going to have to pay child support or co-parent or something. So you're still going to have to deal with each other. And then you still don't trust the other person. So they're going to have custody of them half of the time, maybe. Even if it's not half of the time, it's like a couple of days. We know that it's happened in our own family. It's happening right now in our family. So it's not as easy as it sounds, but I think it sounds easy because it's not something that you have to do right now. Like, it's not something that you have to even fathom right now. So
and that's fair enough, because I can't speak on it because I don't have that experience.
But as an outsider,
I can speak on how I feel if I were in that situation, and then also being someone who experienced a long-term, somewhat abusive relationship and getting out of that. So it's like I have some of that, and just thinking about having a child.
Yeah.
I feel like I already know how I would react in that situation, because I feel like I know myself well enough, but at the same time, I don't know myself in that experience. So
but you're probably one of those people who would be like, once is enough. There's some people that either grew up and seen, somebody be abused, and now they feel like, oh, their father grew out of normal. Or they feel like, oh, my dad grew out of that behavior, so I can stay with him long enough, and then this, my spouse or boyfriend will grow out of it, and our children will be fine like me. And it's like, but you're not fine, because you're repeating a cycle. Yeah. So like there's different stages and different literally experiences in everything, which is why it's not really fair to be like, why would you stay, or why wouldn't you, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know.
Like I said, it's not about the relationship, it's about the children.
But the children make it more complicated to
stay in your relationship. Get them children to somebody who can take care of them better.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
I mean, and this is just me talking out my ass. I'm aware of that, because like I said, but that's just in my world, in my head. That's how it would go. Deal with your shit with your man or your woman or whatever, but leave the babies out of it. That's all. That's it, and that's all.
I feel like most people do, but there are some people.
If you're gonna argue, make sure the kids ain't home. If you're gonna fight, make sure the kids ain't home.
I feel like for the most part, most people try not to include the children, but there are the few instances where it's like somebody will get abused in front of the children, because they're not really taking into account that there's children present, as much as they're trying to, I don't know, I guess, live in their aggression.
Yeah.
Take out their aggression. Sometimes the children get abused as innocent bystanders. So all I'm saying is, like, leaving those type of situations is more difficult when you have children involved, because those are whole human beings. And we already know how America feels about, or not even America, I'm sure other countries too, feel about children and Social Security and all that. So if you're trying to dissolve a marriage or a relationship, they're trying to figure out how we about to get this child support for your child, because they're taking their cuts out too. So it's still business. It's still business. It's disgusting. But also some people will stay too, because they think about that. Like, damn, I don't want to have to pay child support, or I don't want this nigga to have to pay child support, even though I hate him or I hate her or whatever the case may be. Like, we about to be in the system like a mug. I ain't got time. That's exactly what they want. And even though it's toxic as fuck, like, even though y'all don't need to be together, they'll look at everything else that is America and be like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. Some people will leave and not put their significant other on child support or put them in the system. Mm-hmm. But then that also helps to repeat a cycle, because then that person gets with somebody else and does it again to somebody else, because there was no consequence for their action.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
somebody gonna learn them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's too many variables to be like, why don't you leave? We don't know. it ain't my business. Am I leaving mine? Not today, but who knows what tomorrow brings? You know what I mean? Like, there's too many variables. So, but I understand the question and I understand the WTF of it all.
Yeah, like I said, my biggest thing was about the kids.
Yeah,
it's just about the children for me. Like the kids growing up in a toxic environment, like I said, two adults having their situation, leave or don't leave, but it's just the thing about the children.
Yeah,
that's it. We don't need to create any more monstrous energy in this world. So just being mindful about how the children are raised is like important. Like, have your toxic shit, do your shit. But I mean, I know you can't just cut it on and cut it off, but that's what I'm saying in my head.
But I feel like that's a whole discussion that we should have. It's like
the babies out of it.
That's a whole discussion that we should have. It's like, why do you feel like this traumatic scene that you're causing right now is not traumatizing your child? Or why do you not care enough to maybe put it on pause until you're not around them? That's a whole other discussion that should be had, because that's also part of either dissecting your demons or healing them or whatever the case may be. There's something that needs to be learned there or healed there or something. It's a whole discussion to be had, and not just about dissolving a connection as much as it is figuring out why it needs to be dissolved in the first place.
Exactly. Like, get to the meat of it before
you know me, I'm
just take your shit and go on with your shit to another space and create the same fucking problem.
Exactly. You got to get to the root. Mm-hmm. And then rip the shit out that's rotten, because you're going to be continuing your roots. Haven't I used this analogy before? Like, I'm trying to get to the root of the issue so I can get rid of the rotten shit, because roots are going to grow no matter what. So why wouldn't you want to get rid of the shit that's, you know, no good? Yeah. It's not doing any good for anybody. Get rid of her. Like, simple as that.
Off with the head.
Something. So this is a 2-hour conversation, and we might have to break it up. I hate doing that though. I do.
Not you putting on Cormax.
It's not. It's EOS.
Oh, they got a lawsuit, girl.
What? For what?
Their chapstick making people's lips more chapped.
More chapped?
Yes.
How? What's
Remember in it? The egg ones? The egg?
Yeah, EOS?
No. Yeah. I don't know about these ones. That might be a new formula.
It's the same people.
Yeah, but it might be a new formula.
How long ago was the lawsuit? Should we be talking about this right now?
This is a whole different conversation.
Okay, so we're going to end this here. Thank y'all so much for listening. Leave a comment.
Do good by your kids.
Do good by your kids. Do good by...
Do good by yourself, too.
Yes, do good by... Yes, exactly. First and foremost, do good by yourself, because then it's going to be a domino effect. You taking care of you, you're going to make sure you take care of your kids by any means necessary. So, okay.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.